Hello everyone and welcome back guys to a brand new video where today we're here back with round 2 of the Gran Turismo 7 Manufacturers Series, sort of pre-test episode 1 version 1 if you will, where today we're here back for our first race in the Group 4 cars. This time around you can see we're here in the Toyota once again. Of course, if you missed that on the last video that went live a couple of days ago where we went to Deep Forest Raceway, I can't just remember where we've raced before in this series. I would definitely recommend going back and checking it out. A bit of a brutal start though, I think it must be said, to our Gran Turismo 7 sort of manufacturers series here. But Bathurst always been a track that I've quite enjoyed on Gran Turismo and other racing games in the past. So yeah, let's just wait and see as to what we can muster up here today. Let's try and put the TV back on mute then, make sure you guys can't hear too much of that. Never use your TV remote and drive, kids. But yeah, I'm going to just obviously get this out lap out of the way. 4 laps though, this one. So again, probably going to be about 9 minutes. This race today, 9.5 minutes, obviously depending on whether you're at the front or starting a bit further towards the rear there as we sprays the wall heading over the top of the hill. Yeah, really it's Skyline. It seems to be the only corner I'm struggling with though around this lap. Back end on this Toyota likes to go really loose and lively over the top of the crest there, and of course down the other side you're just trying to thread the needle between the barriers as well. They're of course not Armco around Bathurst either, they're just brutal, horrible concrete walls. But heading out of the, I think, is that Forest's Elbow? I want to say that's Forest Elbow, but then on the other hand I feel like that's the corner right at the start of the mountain section as well. I'm not brilliant with corner names around this circuit, but I do know of course now we're heading down in towards the chase here. I've actually got someone closing in on me on the radar. I do really want to be the first person onto a qualifying lap, I'll be honest. Don't really sort of want to get held up behind anyone. But yeah, as we come down in towards the final corner then, let's set ourselves up ready to go for our first qualifying lap. 7 minutes on the clock, so we should be able to just about squeeze 2 laps in, maybe even the third as well, of course. But yeah, let's do this thing then here from Mount Panorama. Nice run out the final corner, absolutely critical, but of course not a long run up towards turn 1 here. And yeah, I want to be trying to aim for at least sort of a 2:16. And that immediately is not quite going to be the way we should have done turn 1. Forgot to mention I'm running now no traction control, and that is immediately going to be our first lap completely in the bin. Right, well, fastest lap time on the board then is a 2 minutes 18.1. Definitely feel I can get close to that if we get the lap hooked up here, but don't know how much track temperatures have changed since the practice session that I ran in. But yeah, let's try and actually go then for a decent lap here from Mount Panorama and try not to bin it as we head out of Hell Corner. Tipping in very aggressive there on the brakes, scrubbed off a bit too much speed through the midway of the corner there, but yeah, definitely, like I said, feel like we've got quite a bit of pace in the car here as already we've apparently had someone who's called it quits in the racing tonight. Not what you want to see, only 18 cars in this one. I think GT7 having a couple of small server issues still. Of course, this is being recorded the same day they've announced all the big changes that are coming to the economy of this game. But yeah, we probably ought to try and concentrate on our qualifying lap rather than talking about GT7 updates as we head up the hill. Try and tip it in nice and gently, or a little bit of understeer there as we graze the wall on the exit. Just got to try and keep the tyres in good nick as well. That's the critical thing here in these sessions. It's completely pinned through there, no issues with that in qualifying. As we head over the top of the mountain, just scrubbing a little bit wide there. Let's head down through the next couple of corners though, in towards Skyline we go. Someone's not had fun through there. That's what I mean about the car trying to get loose. That was a little bit close for comfort. The car really tried to snap me that time around, but we hang on to it as we head down the hill. Hasn't felt like a bad lap so far, as this will be our only lap in qualifying. Let's just see where it will rank us though on the grid still. That 2:18.1 seems to be the benchmark. So we head down in towards the infamous chase though, of course. I'd only found out recently this whole section of track used to be a complete straight line right until the final corner there, but currently we're 8 tenths up, not too sure what we're 8 tenths up on, to be honest with you guys. Braking at the 150 metre board, right over on the right-hand side as we try and tip it in through the final few corners of the lap, though. Just try and keep the throttle pin there, as top guy has now found even more time there. Down onto a 17.2, braking just after the 100 in towards the final corner. There might have been a little bit early actually on the brakes that time around. Back end tries to wriggle free at the final corner, though, up towards the line. What is the time going to be? It's going to be a 17.4, which puts us P2 on the grid there, the only man within 1 second of pole position there in his Ferrari. That was a lot better than I thought it would be, and fingers crossed we can stay there. Right, well, here we are then, ready for round 2 of the first ever Manufacturers Series, and look at that, our little Toyota on the front row of the grid there. Ferrari did stick it on pole, though, by 2 tenths of a second of myself. I think we've still got quite a good variety of cars, though, in this field. There he is on pole position. There we are in P2, just under a quarter of a second behind there. Porsche in P3. Sebastian Vettel, apparently, in this race there. Peugeot RCZ in 4th, ahead of a Scirocco in P5. They're often pretty good around this circuit. Another Ferrari, actually in P6, so clearly it's a good venue for the mid-engine cars there. Hyundai in 7th, another Porsche in P8. They're always such a popular choice on Gran Turismo there. And then a Jaguar in 9th there. Subaru rounding out the top 10. Don't think they've got the 4-wheel drive system. That could have come in useful tonight with another Scirocco in P11. BMW M4, haven't seen many of those so far. In P12, they're ahead of yet another Porsche in P13. The one other Toyota, I'm pretty certain, in this lobby in 14th place there, alongside the Alfa Romeo 4C. And then we've got yet another Porsche in P16 there. And rounding out the grid is going to be another Toyota. I didn't actually realise there were 3 of us in this one tonight. But 4 laps though ahead of us today. Not going to be a particularly long race, like I said, probably only about 9.5 minutes unless we have an absolute disaster. Just got to make sure we don't actually bottle it with the lack of traction control here. But yeah, about to go green then here from Mount Panorama in the Group 4 cars for the very first time. I'd done no laps of this track prior to, well, I'd done 1 lap of practice prior to this event, so to be honest, yeah, to stick it in P2, I'm pretty happy with that. But let's get ready then to go racing. We'll try and tuck into the slipstream and see where this Ferrari is gonna struggle there as the airplanes fly over. It is green flag racing as we head down in towards turn 1. Just gonna try and keep it smooth and tidy on the bumps. And yeah, really trying to apply some pressure actually to this Ferrari here, because, you know, these sorts of races we can learn a lot from this early on into GT7's game cycles. Look at the weaving he's trying to do to break the slipstream there. I mean, theoretically, if qualifying's anything to go by, we should both have a lot more pace over the cars behind. So wait and see about that, as already he's pretty wide heading through turn 2, and we're already going to get a run as we head up the hill. They're not actually looking to try and go for anything as we head in towards the next few corners, but do not want this guy holding me up too much either there. So you can just see trying to get as early on the throttle as we dare, but immediately seems like we're pretty confident there, as I think Sebastian Vettel has bottled it already there. 3 seconds now the gap to a German who has inherited P3. A little bit of understeer there. Ferrari going to take a lot more risks, but it's, yeah, really Skyline still that I'm very, very worried about there, as we just get a tiny bit out of shape. See if we can just try and keep it clean and tidy. It just does not want to grip up through there. I feel like I'm just hanging on to the car every time through. And then on the downhill section, we are mighty fast, but we're going to pick up a 1 second penalty for track limits. So guessing we just took that corner a bit too tightly there, as, I mean, it's not going to affect our position in this race, but it will leave the Ferrari with a bit of breathing room there. Not too sure. Oh, here we go. Here's the detection point. So we're going to try and get as much speed as we possibly can off this guy. And there we go. We're going to have to start driving again. And now he's going to have a little bit of a gap over me. So we've probably lost closer to 2 seconds from that penalty. Yeah, going to be about 2 seconds in the end. So not too happy with that one. But if we keep our head down, we can definitely still close this gap back up there. Because I think in race trim, this Toyota is a very, very balanced beast round here. See already the gap just coming down a little bit once more. We need to try and work our way back into the slipstream here. But, you know, Bathurst really does just punish any mistake that you make around this venue. So that's going to be the key here. They're just not doing anything stupid, not trying to overpush the car as well. quick but careful, I think is definitely going to be the way in this one, as we get a nice run on the exit of turn 1 there, but apparently not as nice a run as the Ferrari in front there. Is already, yeah, just building up the gap again over the German behind, so not too sure why it seems that us two are so much stronger than everyone else, but nice to see we have got a little bit of extra top-end speed there. So we head up the hill. Already got some rage quits coming in. It's just got to be super careful about front tyre scrubbing, though. That's where we seem to cost ourselves a lot of time, though. I think it's something all these Group 4 cars seem to struggle with. Because, yeah, going to really concentrate. So we head up through the mountain, though, as you can just see. Through a lot of the corners, we are actually a fair bit quicker. Seem to be a little bit more confident, but it's all about just trying to get the lap hooked up. And I think over the top of the mountain, well, the Ferrari was definitely a little bit faster last time, but let's just wait and see. There we go, that was a bit better. See, the delta is immediately, therefore, coming back down. Keep the foot in to try and maximise the width of the venue, and that might be first time we made it through there fairly undramatically, he says, as the back end that's still squirreling around underneath us. Need to try and get a good run out of here. Because, of course, like I said, we've got that little bit extra top-end speed there, but we have not capitalised on the exit. That Ferrari seems to be able to slingshot its way out of the corners here. We should be able to claw back a little bit of delta by the end of the straightaway here, but I think as much for the psychology as anything else, we need to try and take fastest lap here on this one. As, yeah, a lot of people already leaving the session. We are purple still, as we just start to gain a tiny bit at the end of the straight, but yeah, about to cross over half distance here. We need to really start hitting our lines here. Gonna have to really try and put my head down and focus, because I think, yeah, if he gets any sort of mistake, we've definitely got the pace to capitalise. But it's just a case of getting close enough. That's the important thing, and the only way we're going to do that is just by hitting our marks there. What time's he going to set? 2:18 dead. We go marginally faster, but it's a 2:18 dead as well. So just try and tip it in through turn 1, a little bit braver, and that's actually going to be a really nice run on the exit the first corner there. We need to try and get back into the slipstream, I feel, for the final lap there, as the gap now for the first time dips back under 2 seconds. Yeah, we need the toe. That's going to be critical here, and if we want to get closer to that draft, going to have to try and nail this next section of corners as you brake just before the 50. So important though, you get the car tipped in right towards that curb, as you can see the amount of time you gain from it there. The gap now down 1.5 seconds, and these are what you want. Just know the other guy is spending too much time looking at the delta, so you can just try and focus on closing in. 1.4 now the gap briefly went down to as we head back up through the mountain. I know I keep saying it through there, but I struggle with it a little bit in practice, so to know it is completely pinned in race trim is pretty weird, as that's going to be the best line I've had through there so far. So we just keep it tidy through this next corner. As you can see, the Ferrari really now starting to push. Again, just try and keep the steering smooth. But again, back end just wobbles around a little bit too much through there. When you actually get the run through the first part, take a bit too much momentum into the second. Let's see if we can get a nice run on the exit this time. Ferrari's not had a good run though. Look at that delta really starting to come down now, as we might just be able to get it close to under a second here as we look to start the final lap of this race. Are we now getting a little bit of slipstream as well then from that Ferrari? This is absolutely critical at the moment. It's not going to be the longest race in the world, but it could still get spicy as we look towards the final lap now. 1.6 seconds up on the fastest lap, so we brake at the 150 there, and he is not confident at the moment. We are just taking time out of him hand over fist at this stage of the day there. You can see again he's resorted back to weaving to try and not give us the slipstream, so perhaps he knows how potent the slipstream is there. Look at that, he runs horribly wide out of the final corner. I mean, he tried to swipe me, I think, looking at the radar, unless he just had a big snap of oversteer there, but a 16.5 new fastest lap of the day as well. But we are going to inherit the lead then of this race as we start the final lap here from Bathurst, and that's exactly what we want to see there in a 1.6 second margin. The Icelandic driver feeling the pressure and has fought by. It was a very unforced error, to be honest. I wasn't particularly close to him at that stage of the day, but now it's critical that we don't do anything stupid on this final lap. A lot of understeer through turn 2 there, and a lot of oversteer on the exit. This thing is still a handful. That's what I kind of like about Gran Turismo 7 as well. And the fact that cars can still be a little bit loose and lively. As we head up the hill once again. We just got to navigate our way through them. We could be on for our first win here of GT7 Online. Our first podium as well on GT7 Online after such a tough race last time around in the Group 3 cars at Deep Forest. And to be honest, I don't know if we've just been put in a lower split. I don't know how to check my driver rating on Gran Turismo 7 just yet, but nice and tidy through the downhill section for the final time. So check it in. There we go. That's really the best run I've had down through there. Maybe we could try and set another fastest lap on this last lap of the race, but we need to try and get a tidy run out through the bottom of the mountain section there, and that's exactly what we've done. And you can just see when we get it nailed, the amount of time we pull away from that Ferrari, I think desperation was starting to settle in for him there. We've romped away from the rest of the field in this one, the pair of us. We've been far superior on the pace. It was always going to be a battle between just us two, but yeah, 8/10 down though on my previous best there, probably by virtue of the slipstream. But as we head down in through the chase for the final time here from Mount Panorama, it's certainly not the most dramatic race I've ever won, but good early sort of groundwork here on Gran Turismo 7. As we head down in towards the final corner, often takes me a while to get a first race victory on a new platform, but at the final corner, it's going to be the dub here at Mount Panorama. You absolutely love to see that, and another 2:17 to round out there. 9:16 race time as well, was actually about where I thought we'd be there, on a 3.5 second race win over the Ferrari. That's hopefully going to give us a lot of points in the championship, and maybe some driver points as well. There's Scirocco in P3 ahead of the other 458 as well in 4th. Cayman in 5th ahead of the Genesis Hyundai. RCZ M4, and then Cayman, it looks like one of the fellow Supras who actually, from the very back of the grid there, up to P10, is not bad going at the end of the day there. But having a look then at our other runners, looks like it's going to be the F-Type in 11th ahead of the 4C. Another Cayman down in 13th there, closely followed by the Scirocco there. Another GR Supra, and then of course, just the two guys that didn't finish in the race there as well. But thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed it, please do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed as well, and we'll be back very, very soon with more Gran Turismo 7.